Hi there, it's your head coach Steve Hopkins, and looking forward to talking to you in this short video on ideation. All right, so ideation is one of those very important skills that focused on creating a volume of ideas with a goal of within that volume of ideas, we cultivate the best idea, for what we're working on. All right, so idea selection, idea creation, those things are really important. Remember, there's all kinds of other skill sets associated with this. We're going to talk about just a few different secrets and strategies that you can follow, but there's other things like the rule of six and making sure that we don't fall prey to the bias of jumping at the first idea that we come up with just because we want to get into action. All right. Remember also, we have this little 2x2 grid when we're charting ideas we come up with. So this can be a tool that you use while you're doing this. And then we have this metric about cost and impact, or ROI. All right. And going through that exercise of just plotting the idea down in these areas and defending where you're placing that so that you can start to see if you have a diversity there to look at. You can actually select an idea that might match up with what you're able to accomplish based on cost and ROI. But let's just talk for a second about why this is important, all right, and what we're looking for. We really want great and effective ideas, right? That we want to have within the pool of ideas, we want a great solution, an effective solution. So those things are really important. I'm going to point out a little bit about what some of the things are that typically happen, all right? You can jot some of these ideas down, but typically in the process of ideation, we will have this happen very periodically, all right? So there'd be assigned ideation times is common. Maybe you're going away for a retreat, for instance, and having an idea retreat or a strategy retreat. And you got lots of people, who knows if all those people should be a part of that, but we kind of get conditioned. This happens on a periodic cycle a little bit, all right? Sometimes we definitely value quantity over quality, and we can kind of go either way with that. We can go too much on one side or the other, but we're looking for a healthy mix, and sometimes we just kind of go for, let's just get 1,000 ideas up there, let's try that. So again, the whole story of the rule of six is to get off of one, but do we need to focus on just quantity, not really caring about quality? All right, so that's how that typically works. So in this short video, what I'm going to try to do is just share a few secrets. I'll give you a key word for each secret. We'll talk about it a little bit, and then you can kind of choose ones that really resonate with you, and we can think about how to action those real quick. All right, remember, the goal is we want a little bit of volume of ideation. We want people to participate for the purpose then of us looking at the ideas and choosing the best one that's going to be really important. So here's some top secrets, all right? And the first one, all right, we're just going to put these key words down here, okay? I'm going to put the word needs, all right? And what we're talking about with needs is that we're going to start the ideation process with needs as our catalyst, all right? Instead of just random ideas, like coming up with a random idea and saying, oh, that's a good idea, let's talk about some more ideas like that, all right? Let's use needs as our catalyst so that we're focused on things that we're already going to be desiring to action because something is kind of prompting us that the reason for ideation is purposeful, all right? And so this whole concept of needs, not ideas, start there, okay? The other thing I'm going to write down here is the word often, all right? So we'll talk about brainstorming as a skill, all right? Ideation, brainstorming as a skill. And so we want to have this idea that we're going to engage in this often. And as a leader, you can choose times where sometimes it can be planned, other times it can be spontaneous. And you're thinking in the back of your mind, oh, I want to create some ideas here. The other thing is I want to just practice ideation, all right? And make it a little bit more often. Make it less formal, more casual. Invite people to kind of jump into the process, because we're going to do this more often. All right, it won't seem like this scary thing that people need to do research and homework on, and well, I'm so glad I got invited and that sort of thing. Okay, so that's another thing we can think of. So we have needs and we have often. All right, this next thing is going to be about the audience, and we're going to use the word diversity. All right, so we want to involve lots of diversity in different ideation opportunities. All right, and the value of that is just that we know there's a diversity of perspectives, there's a diversity of experience, there's a diversity of backgrounds, even prior to getting involved in the situation, just all kinds of reasons. So we want to focus on that. If we don't tend to it purposely, often what happens by default is lack of diversity. People that already are advertised that they're engaged in the process. People have been asked before. People huddle that already pre-agree on some things. They like each other's solutions. This is very, very common. So as a leader, you want to be very purposeful in saying, hey, I'm going to kind of throw a wrench into things once in a while, and I got to make sure I'm looking across age, other demographics, background experience, depth of time, all those things. Let's tend to that and really focus on involving diversity. Now, a couple things as it pertains to volume and kind of those rules. I'm gonna write the word bad, and then I'm gonna write the word kill, yeah, just to be pretty poignant. All right, and what I'm going to say here is to encourage a lot of research saying a part of this is about how much focus and time and distraction that we incorporate in this process. And so this discipline of killing bad ideas, all right, has nothing to do with offering and creating bad ideas. All right, we want to exercise the muscle of ideation. We want to give permission for people just to flow with that. But we also want to make it safe, that we can say, people can throw an idea, we could talk real quickly, and that idea is just not going to fly. That idea doesn't really have merit. That idea doesn't have sustainability. That idea doesn't really fit with our solution, right? And have that be all right. Kill it quickly so we can clear the air of things that could potentially be distracting in a needless way, all right? And so we don't want that. So you can have fun with that. You can gamify that a little bit. You want to make sure that you're building psychological safety so that can actually happen. And it only happens after the bad idea was even offered up, all right? And so we want to encourage that. All right, the last word I'm going to put down here is the word document. All right, document. And this just has to do with kind of maybe an ending process. You're going to choose an idea, all right? You're going to choose one out of the group that you want to pursue. I encourage you to document everything that was left, all right, for a couple reasons. One, somehow it made it on the board. It didn't get killed as a bad idea, okay? It made it on the board. And it could be because we need that later if the one we chose doesn't really pan out. Makes for an easy, fast pivot. Just like the value of the rule of 6, really, you've already kind of thought out 5 other things that make it on the list, and you can pivot from that very quickly. But the other thing is, that idea could be applicable in a totally different thing, but you've kind of put a little muscle to it already and said, we thought of something over here that we didn't use, but over here, it actually is a better, maybe a better matching idea. And so document those, record those, save those up. And just, you can have this pool of good ideas that didn't get actioned on because something was better than that thing, all right? And it could just be about that 2x2 matrix again, right? We're saying, well, we have a few options, but we need to pick something that's low cost but high ROI, all right? And so something that cost a lot that was a high ROI, something that might fit over in this quadrant, got passed on because we have to action something quicker. We have a time sensitivity. We have a budget sensitivity issue. So we got to pick lower cost thing to produce a higher ROI. But we had a couple other good ideas. If we ever had the time, if we had a little bit more money, if we had 2 more bodies, that's a really good idea. All right. So that's just an example of why to document. All right. So we have starting with needs. Okay. We have brainstorming often, right? We have involving diversity here. killing bad ideas quickly, and documenting the remaining good ideas that don't get used. All right, one of those I'll bet will jump out at you to action and try to include in your ideation. And you could have just a brainstorming session, and you could pick one of these that you just want to work on with your group and say, hey, we're having a diversity issue. All right, and so I'm creating this next brainstorming idea, but my main goal is to involve and invite a more diverse group. All right, and you can check that off, and you can get your team used to that. All right, maybe you have a culture going where every idea deserves the same amount of time, and nothing gets, it's kind of like every idea is a winner, and so you're like, wow, we're getting distracted with that. We're taking too long in the process. Everybody's defending every idea, and maybe you just want to practice this. Hey, I want to just get good at how well we eliminate bad ideas. And so this brainstorming session, we do need to come up with something, but I also, behind the scenes, I want to practice, encourage killing bad ideas quicker. All right. So whichever one of these maybe is something that sticks out for you, I encourage you to think about that, action that, report back to the group and say, hey, this is the one thing I tried to focus on as it pertained to ideation with my team. And let us know how things went. We'll look forward to hearing from you and getting better and better at ideation. Thank you.